Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. As you can see by the title, today I will be talking about my experience with breastfeeding. I will be giving tips, advice, things that help me, pros and cons. So I chose to breastfeed because you hear moms talking about how it's just the best and the healthiest, which is true, but I'm here to tell you, as long as your baby is fed, that's all that matters. Do not put pressure on yourself trying to breastfeed, because my experience was not the easiest. So in the hospital, he did not automatically latch. It took me about 3 days for my milk to come in. Well, the first 3 days, I had what was called colostrum, the liquid gold. I had that for 3 days, and it was like, I wasn't even pumping an ounce. My baby was a jaundice baby, so from the get-go, his pediatrician recommended that he did half breast milk, half formula. But they were like, you're producing perfectly. I don't understand why he's letting you do that. You're a first-time mom. He's already making things complicated. I just stuck it out with just breastfeeding. But the reason why he recommended that, when babies are jaundiced, you want to get as much liquids in them as you can so that they can poop all of those liquids out. But I didn't know that until after I got home and I did my own research, because I was just like, I wonder why. But it's because he wanted to fill him up as much as possible. And at the beginning, your baby's not really getting a lot, but they're getting enough. That's another thing I want to tell you. If you are breastfeeding, or if you plan to breastfeed, you are not going to automatically be pumping ounces and ounces and ounces. Well, I pumped probably 1 ounce the second or third day, but do not stress it. Please do not stress. I was like, oh my gosh, my baby's not getting enough. And then I had a nurse. Well, I don't really want to talk bad about anybody, but do not let nobody get you off track. If you want to breastfeed, you breastfeed. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. It's going to be tough. I promise it'll get better. In the hospital, we had a lactation consultant. She was amazing. She showed different positions. There's about 5 different positions. Some of my top 5 supplies: a lactation massager. Oh my gosh, get one of these. When you are pumping, sometimes you can get like mastitis, you can get clogged milk ducts, or even just to help with the uncomfortableness of pumping and the baby latching, massage, and it just gives relief to mama. My second on the top 5 supply list is a breast pump. Of course, I had a breast pump, I had the HAAKAA, which is another one on my list, and then I had a hand pump. The breast pump, of course, you pop it on and you turn it to a level and whatever, and it pumps your milk. And then the hand pump, you latch it and then you just pump it. HAAKAA, you bend it open and you pop it up there and you close it, and it just leaks. My breast pump, the whole time I was breastfeeding, only one side worked. So I had a HAAKAA on one side almost every time I was breastfeeding or pumping, and then I had the baby latched, or I had the breast pump, and it was tough. But get your breast pump that works. I had one that was passed down. I sterilized it, cleaned it, and all that, and I just used it. I was like, shoot, saving money. Even though I had signed up for a free breast pump from the WIC office, I never got to it. I just dealt with the HAAKAA and the breast pump, so obviously it wasn't too bad. Another top 5 are breast pads. I hated leaking. It was just so messy. So breast pads, when you're out and about, you need to have something where your milk isn't leaking through your clothes, because that's kind of embarrassing and uncomfortable. My 5th one is LANOLIN ointment. Oh my gosh, this is probably the best thing out of all 5 things I've just named. Me and my baby went through thrush, and even just pumping sometimes it was uncomfortable, so I would put the LANOLIN ointment around my nipple area and I would pump. I would put it lightly and my baby would latch, and it just felt so much better, because when I had thrush, it just hurt so bad, but I'll get into that. So I'm gonna start off naming the cons because I want to end it on a good note, so we're gonna do the pros last. One of my cons that I experienced was thrush. My baby and I had thrush for a month and a half. A whole month and a half. The pain and the patience, oh my goodness. It was just awful. I don't wish that on anybody at all. Anybody at all. It was the worst. I cried, and then my doctor gave me a medicine that didn't work at first, and then she gave me another medicine and it worked perfectly, which I wish she would have just gave it to me in the beginning, because as a result of thrush, my baby stopped latching, because he was healed before I was healed, and so I couldn't latch my baby. I just had to pump, and it was just so sad. Oh my gosh, and that just broke my heart. Then we had to switch to formula. My second con is milk overproduction. It made it so difficult for my baby to drink. It was painful, pumping. I had mastitis, and that is very dangerous because it can lead to you having antibiotics. But some things to cure mastitis is like taking warm showers, and is it called hand or express pumping? I think it's the same thing, I'm not sure. But yeah, I had flu-like symptoms. I had fever, nausea, I was feeling warm. It just felt like so bad. It was painful. The massager that I mentioned earlier, that helped a lot. Another con of breastfeeding is it's messy. I'm very organized. I have a little OCD, and so just it leaking everywhere, milk all over, squirting and all of that. I did not like that. Your boobs leak and it squirt, and it's just really uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable for me. My fourth con is that it's very time consuming. Now that my baby is on formula, I got to see how very time consuming and tiring it was. I only breastfed for like a month maybe. And so, you know, in the newborn stages, they're just sleeping all the time and eating, sleeping and eating, and I was just tired and drained. But now that I do formula, it's so much easier to spend time with my baby, and it's less time consuming. You know, you just wake up, fix the bottle, shake it, feed it to him. You fall asleep, he falls asleep. The only thing about that is bottles. I mean, but wash the bottle, sterilize the bottle. I boil my baby's bottles at least 4 times a week because the milk can spoil. But a tip for that is when you are switching bottles, make sure you rinse out the bottle, empty all the parts, and then just leave it in the sink until you're ready to wash it. Don't just let the milk sit in it because it will stink so bad. I even one time soaked my baby's bottles, washed them, and then boiled them, and the water stunk. It was no milk or anything in it, but it stunk so bad because I let it sit in it, and I was just like, ugh, it was gross. So yeah, make sure you wash and soak and boil your baby's bottles and rinse them out. My fifth con is a decrease in milk production. Like I mentioned, an overproduction, I also had a decrease. In the beginning, I didn't know how important it was to pump. So I would let my boobs just fill up until they were all the way full where I couldn't stand the pain. Then I would pump because I was so tired, like feeding him. He had a schedule, I was tired, I was healing. So I would just let him fill up. And I'm telling you now not to do that because that can cause a decrease. It's like when you don't pump enough, that tells your body that you don't need as much milk. But when you pump and pump and pump, that tells your body that milk is still needed and it produces as much milk as your baby needs, and it makes everything easier. So I wish somebody told me this in the beginning. Pump, 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 because if your baby, like my baby, gets thrush, you need to have as much milk saved up as you can so that by the time y'all are done healing, the milk that is frozen, you've used all that milk, and by the time you've used all that milk, you've healed enough so that your baby can latch again. If that makes sense, like I had a big decrease where I had to pump, pump, pump like every hour, even when he wasn't eating, and it was just even more tiring. So in the beginning, pump and store as much as you can. I know it's hard, I know it's tiring, but try to pump as much as you can and save. My sixth con is that it was very discomforting. I'm very weird, I guess you can say. I don't know what you would call it. It was uncomfortable announcing it. Like, I don't know why, but so many people asked me, are you breastfeeding? And I don't know why when I got that question, it just made me want to just cover up my boobs, and it made it uncomfortable. But it was just so uncomfortable announcing it. Like, yes, I breastfeed in there looking down at your boobs. Like, I'm just like, oh, don't do that. Why are you making it weird? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. But yeah, it was kind of discomforting. My seventh con is diet. I really had to adjust and change my diet for my baby's intolerances. I love pasta. I love Alfredos. And his doctor put me on a no dairy diet. So I couldn't eat cheese. I couldn't eat pasta. I couldn't drink milk, and it's like everything that he asked me not to put in my diet, I was craving, and that made it so hard. I don't know why that happens, but it's like what you can't have, you won't. I don't know. My eighth con is that I had an increase in hunger and hydration. When I tell you I was constantly thirsty and hungry, it's like I was still eating for 2, and I still feel like I eat for 2. I don't full fast or anything. I just eat and eat and eat. I eat his dad's food, his dad's drink. I eat my food, my drink, and then I get seconds and thirds out of the pot or whatever, and it's just like, what is going on? What's going on? But I still do the same thing. Like, I'm just constantly hungry, constantly thirsty. I don't know what it is, but I'm still adjusting to that. I don't breastfeed anymore, but I guess that's just my body is still healing and adjusting. It's 4 months later and my body is still going through changes and everything. It takes a while to heal from having a baby. Moving on to my pros. So my first pro is that it's just so soothing for my baby. It was just that one-on-one time. You have your fresh new baby that you've been growing inside of you, and then bloop, and he's in your arms and you're feeding him, and you're tired, he's tired, you're learning, he's learning. Y'all are adjusting together and growing together. It was just so bonding and just so soothing to me, and I'm sure to him. Nothing else in the world mattered at that time. It was just the sweetest thing. The second thing, like I mentioned, it was the healthiest for my baby, but like I said, as long as your baby is happy and full and fed, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Do not put pressure on yourself. Oh, I gotta breastfeed because I want my baby to have the best. That was my mindset. And then when he got switched to formula, I felt like my world had torn apart. Do not let that happen to you. Just feed your baby. Do what's best for your baby. My third pro is that I could dismiss myself whenever I want. I'm very introverted. So when I was like visiting family, I could say, you know, I gotta breastfeed my baby. I wanna get out of here. I could use that as an excuse. But most of the time, he was hungry. But I could dismiss myself whenever I wanted to without feeling bad about it. My fourth pro is it saves a lot of money. I can say, however, nobody told me that breast pads and the ointment can become so, I don't want to say so expensive because it's just two things, but still, I use breast pads like crazy. In my whole month and a half of breastfeeding, I probably use like 5 to 6 boxes of breast pads. Breastfeeding costs money too, so don't come into this thinking like you won't be spending money if you breastfeed. Some things you still need, so just be aware of that. I am on a WIC program, so I have a WIC card that provides my baby formula milk, and that's such a blessing. So my fifth pro is that I gained weight. Before pregnancy, I was like 102. Now I'm like 120. When you're pregnant, of course, you gain baby weight. I lost my baby weight. Now I'm just eating and eating and eating. So I gained all that weight back, which is fine. I wanted to gain weight. I just have to watch my weight. I don't want to look in the mirror one day and like, oh, now I gotta lose it. So I just gotta watch it. My eighth pro is that it's like a healing power for my baby. For example, my baby had jaundice. So I had antibodies passing to my baby through me, through my breast milk, healing my baby. My ninth pro is that your baby can supplement. My baby was drinking breast milk and baby formula at one point. So you can still supplement. Say you're in the hospital and you're like, I want to breastfeed, but you aren't sure you want to continue breastfeeding. You can start off by supplementing and feeding your baby formula and breast milk, which will help you wean your baby off the breast and the breast milk even easier, if that makes sense. My last pro is that there are different positions in breastfeeding. Before my lactation consultant came in, I was just like this, and it was painful because I didn't know how to latch in. I know I'm a mom, but am I supposed to automatically just know everything? And then the lactation consultant came in and just helped me so much. And yeah, there are different positions when breastfeeding. My favorite position, I think it was the football. I'm misinforming anybody. I held him like this, and he would lay this way, and I would hold him up like this with his head, and he would just latch like this. It was so comfortable for me, I don't know why. And that is all my pros and cons. However, like I said, I want to end it on a good note. I want to give some advice to the new mommies, and I want to just encourage y'all. You got this. It's not gonna be easy. It's not. Just accept that it's not going to be easy, but I promise you got this. And just stay educated. Educate yourself. Look up, research things, and really get into it, because there's so much about breastfeeding that I did not know about, that I had to research on my own because it wasn't told to me. So just go look up things, and whenever you're curious, educate yourself. My second advice would be to pump, pump, pump. I know it's hard, like I mentioned in the beginning. You're tired, your baby's tired, your baby's already waking up every hour or two, but pump as much as you can, save as much as you can, because there may be a time when you need it. So it's better to be safe than sorry. My third advice would be rest when needed. When your baby is sleeping and you caught up with everything, rest. At the beginning, when I had my baby, I did not rest at all. I was cleaning, I was cooking, I was doing everything but resting, and I was so sore, I felt sick. It's horrible. I'll talk more about that in my birth story, but just rest when needed. My fourth advice would be stay hydrated. Drink water, body armors, Gatorade, anything energizing, especially water though. Make sure you stay hydrated because everything that you consume is going to your baby. My fifth one is eat. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna gain weight. You're gonna gain weight, but I promise you'll lose it. You're gonna gain weight because you're laying there, and especially most moms, you stay at home with your baby after they're born. You're out of work, so you're gonna gain a little weight, but when you get back active and you get back up, you'll lose it again. So don't be worried about, taking care of yourself and eating as much as you want. You better eat and stay hydrated. My sixth piece of advice would be to talk about your feelings. It's hard. It is very hard to talk about your feelings or even to consider yourself when you have a whole nother world in your arms that's constantly relying on you to take care of them and to love them and to comfort them and just care for them 24/7, literally. It's hard, but please think about yourself, talk about your feelings, whether it's a therapist, a friend, whether it's your spouse or your lover, whether it's your parents. Talk to someone. Don't be scared. Don't be feeling like, oh, I'm gonna put this burden on somebody else, and you bottle that up, and then you're just sitting there just crying and just sad. It can lead to depression. It can lead to postpartum depression. It can lead to you even being sick, because then you're like not wanting to eat. Talk about your feelings. Talk about how you feel, whether you feel like somebody wants to hear it or not. Even if you record yourself just sitting there talking to yourself and you just delete it later, at least let it out. Please, because your mental health matters. How you feel matters. Talk about your feelings and open up. It is okay, I promise. And you are going to be okay. I'm telling you this now, but just open up, please, and talk about your feelings. I'm stressing this one because it's really important. In the beginning, your baby is not starving. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I wasn't pumping enough. I thought my baby was starving and I was stressed. I was crying. His dad was like, relax, you're okay. Nurses had to explain to me like 5 times, the baby's stomach is literally not even the size of your palm. Just relax. He's getting enough. He's okay. He's not showing signs of hunger. I promise you're okay. Your baby is not starving and everything will happen in time. Like I said, when you latch, baby saliva. This is so cool. Even your baby's saliva, just him latching or tummy time, him or her, tummy time, and just soaking in your baby's presence tells your body how much your baby needs. That's so cool, huh? I did not know that just my baby latching told my breast how much my baby needs. That's just so cool. And it still surprises me. Like, that's amazing. Last piece of advice is every day almost, I look at videos of when my baby was a newborn. Me and him will look at it together. He laughs. It's so cute. He'll laugh at his videos and he'll smile. And it's just so adorable. I'm like, that's you crying. Why are you laughing at yourself crying? It's just the cutest thing in the world. But time goes by super fast. He's 4 months already. And I just remember like yesterday when I was giving birth to my little handsome sweet. He's the sweetest thing. Time goes by so fast, and you're just gonna look at your baby one day and you're gonna be like, what? 5 months? A year? And it's just gonna be the saddest thing, but the most sweetest thing all at the same time. So just take it day by day and don't stress yourself. Love yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the baby. Learn together. It's a learning experience. You guys are learning everything together. He doesn't know how to latch. You don't know how to latch him. Y'all learn together. He doesn't know how much he really needs to eat. You don't know how much he really needs to eat. Y'all learn together. Like, pay attention. In the beginning, I was feeding my baby way too much. Be patient. Love your baby. Soak in every moment. and just learn together. That's it. Just take it day by day. That is the end of my video. I really hope that I have helped someone, that I have given some great advice, some tips and some tricks, some motivation, some encouragement, whatever it may be. And yeah, thank you for being here. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.